Moving on though, no rest for the weary as we have doubles now starting. Looks like we've got 20 pairings for doubles. We're going to have 5 games in round 1. Each team will play 2 games. The top 7 on average score will go directly through to finals. The rest are eliminated, so there is no room for error here. No repechage. You're either top 7 or you are out. So this will be a very interesting round of games, because one misstep from one of these favorited teams could see them crashing out. While we fill this game up, we'll go through the pairings. So from the top, we have Runt and Twinkles, Goofy and Four Eyes, Ace and Guinea, Arcane and Vidark, Popeyes and Lieutenant Traitor, Moldy and Rogue, Cyberant and Deeka, Dari and the BMW, Rooster and Zeta, Mantis and Sega, Sheru and Guerrero, Jellyhawk and Karen, Big Boss Dog and Insomnia, Gumby and Turagora, Easy Points and Nelly, Sea Dog and Feel, Akko and Paxo, Greasetricity and Nitro, Shurikitty and Tiger, and Grooty and Jam Man. So for those of you in chat, who firstly do you think makes it through to doubles finals, and who do you think takes home the competition? Who do you think's winning this comp for doubles? Know what Egalda is going to say. Egalda is going to say that Dari and BMW are going to get up there. You would think Ace and Guinea would make finals. I would be shocked if Ace and Guinea didn't make. Actually, I would even be a bit cheeky and jump on the messenger and let Ace know about it if Ace didn't make finals. But then I remember he's coming to Nats, and I don't know if I want to invoke that rage. I wouldn't even call it rage. There's no use getting on Ace's bad side, because it'll come back around and bite me eventually. Of the 20 pairings, like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams in game 1. So the game 1, we'll go through it quickly here while we're still waiting to send the teams in. We're going to have Runt and Twinkles on red, Ace and Guinea on pink, Moldy and Rogue on green, Dari and the BMW on yellow, Sheru and Guerrero on blue, Big Boss Dog and Insomnia on purple, Sea Dog and Feel on cyan, and Greasetricity and Nitro on orange. Yeah, so lots of Dunedin love in the chat. As to be expected, we keep seeing Dunedin go strength to strength as these invite competitions have gone on. Obviously, they swept all the Auckland teams off the map at home last year, and now they're come to see if they can do the same thing on away turf. It's like from the cameras, we have action in the first game of doubles round 1. Just waiting for the scoreboard to update. Looks like we've got a lot of action going around in all of the bases, as you expect. So if anyone is not familiar with doubles, there are 3 bases in the arena. All 3 bases are active. Each player can get each base once for a grand total of 6 bases between you and your partner. Highest average score, top 7 average score from these round 1 games will go through to finals. As we see a referee charging in the blue base. I don't know if they were just late getting in or they're after someone to give them a penalty. Remains to be seen. Unfortunately, folks don't have scores currently. Hopefully we'll get that one fixed for you soon, folks, so you can follow the action along and I can give a bit more detailed insight. As looks like we've got Runt and Twinkles in blue base currently. No one on the green cameras, and a player I've just missed them running out of red. Apologies to that player. A bit more action. Looks like Moldy now at green, and he's gone. Unfortunately, being a remote commentator, I can't say for sure where these cameras are in the bases. I'm just going off of the labels. So hopefully we'll get some commentary or some help from the chat in regards to where these cameras are set up so we know what we're looking at. Currently game 1 of round 1 of doubles. Currently no scores for you folks, but hopefully we'll have them up very shortly. Cameras are look like their cameras are looking at each of the mid pockets in the base. Oh yeah, I can see what you mean. There's a bit of a corner section. They would be the ones that would be facing the walls. Corners looking at corners without a door. Yeah, okay, that makes sense now. So from a very lovely chat member has mentioned that it appears that the cameras are looking at the corners of the maze that does not, corner of the bases, apologies, that do not have a door attached to them. So, in the top left corner of red base, the top right corner of blue base, and the bottom right corner of green base. Okie dokie, folks. So I've just been informed that it looks like we're having some technical issues. So we're just going to hold off on anything to do with doubles for the time being. As soon as we get some more information, we will bring that to you. Yeah, it looks like they're back in. Looks like we're having some issues with the scoreboard though. Yeah, it definitely looks like players are playing, but the pitfalls of live broadcasting, folks, and remote broadcasting on top of that one. Sure, could he look shot out of red there? What else can we? Okie dokie, folks. We are back in business. We've got their backup scoreboard going, so looks like we may have restarted game 1 of solos. Currently, Moldy and Rogue lead the way, 7,000 points with 2 bases. Grease, Tricity, and Nitro getting their second base. Following up Ace and Guinea in third, Twinkles and Runt in fourth, BMW and Dari fifth, Guerrero and Sheru, Insomnia, Big Boss Dog, and Sea Dog and Phil rounding out our field of 2, 4, 8 teams, I'm guessing. I should know. Can definitely count here. I played last line, I can count. I know how this works, I can count to 10. So it looks like we're going with our standard 10-minute game format. Big Boss Dog, copping a penalty. So that's 1,000 points off their score. And really damaging in a game like doubles where you've only got a handful of bases to get. It can really hamper your score. So we'll see if they're able to get themselves back to positive shortly. As Ace and Guinea have taken over the lead, but Runt and Twinkle's right on their heels. We've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 6 teams all on 2 bases, just teams with a little bit higher pack. As I say that, Rogue takes her second base and the team's third base. Runt in green, shooting green, and I thought it was Runt taking green, but it might have been Twinkles. Either or, they have their third base for the game. We now have 2 teams on 3 bases. P-Dog denied by Guinea. Nitro denied. Nitro looks like denied by Ace. Ace has piggybacked and taken red base. Ace now taking his team to 3 bases. Dari and Sheru, looks like they ping-ponged each other, taken green, possibly? Oh no. Definitely a bit of a ping-pong there as Dari takes her green base, but at what cost? As we're now back to our primary scoreboard, where you can see that Runt has taken both green and blue, just needing a red. Ace and Guinea have joined them on 4 bases each. As Sheru takes green base there, as we can see, we've got a long way still to go, but we still have 2 teams, 3 teams that are only 2 bases away from completing their 6. So it is a bit of a up for debate. Some teams in doubles like to get their bases straight away so they can field point immediately. Some teams like to fight their way and accumulate pack throughout the game and finish their bases later on. Unfortunately, you do find that if you leave your bases too late, you become a bit of a target, especially if you're a known player. As soon as other players cotton on in doubles that you need a base, life can become very difficult for you getting those bases. So we still have just under halfway to go. Ace and Guinea are 1 base away from finishing their 6, along with Moldy and Rogue. But Ace and Guinea enjoy a 2,000 point advantage. As I say that, Runt and Twinkles have their 5th base and now 2,000 points behind Ace and Guinea. So we've now got 4 teams all on 5 bases each. So we can see a very early finish from one of these teams. With a bit of work from Dari, BMW, Greasetricity and Nitro, Feel and Sea Dog, Insomnia and Big Boss Dog. Still yet to get a base. So a bit of work to do from some of these other teams. As Rogue and Moldy are the first team rather, to complete their 6, but they had a bit of struggles maybe getting their bases. As we now have 3 teams all on 6 bases about simultaneously. So Ace and Guinea are currently leading this game, 26,000 with 6 bases. Runt and Twinkle's not too far behind, 25,000 with their 6. And Rogue and Moldy, 23,000 with their 6. Guerrero and Sheru also getting 6. They're on 21,000 with 6. Nitro and Greasetricity just picking up their fourth, with Dari and BMW on their three. Sea-Dog getting Blue Base, getting their team first base of this first game of doubles, and Insomnia and Big Boss Dog still a bit of a struggle there for those two. As we get towards the final 2 minutes 30 of this first game of doubles, Ace and Guinea, as predicted in the chat, really pressing their advantage and stamping their authority on this event. It looks like we've got most players needing blue base at the moment. There's a lot of action we can see on our spectator system. No one currently in the base from what we can tell, as Sea-Dog and Feel are currently mopping up their red bases. That is one of the, not so much advantages, but saving graces for teams that may have got left behind slightly in the early game, that bases do become a bit empty when players start trying to fight and clustering around a certain base that players need. Some of the other bases become a little bit easier to get their hands on. As we're inside 90 seconds now of the first game of doubles. Not much has changed at the top end. Ace and Guinea still lead from Runt and Twinkles. Moldy and Rogue in third. Guerrero and Sheru have finished their six as well. It just comes down to pack, I think, at the moment. Although Runt and Twinkle's now starting to get a boogie on, as they say. Dari and BMW one base short of their six, but they need a bit of pack to catch the leaders. Insomnia has picked up their team's first base of the game, so they won't be shut out for bases at least. As we approach the final 30 seconds of the first game of doubles, Ace and Guinea still lead on 30,000, as we have a bit of a cluster fight going on in the area between green and blue. Who is going to be the last second hero for their team? I don't think much is going to change at the top end. We're going to see if one of these other teams can sneak a base at the last possible minute. Gonna have to start shooting now. And that'll be game. That will be game 4. That wraps us up for the first game of doubles. Ace and Guinea taking the provisional win, 31,066. Runt and Twinkles second, 29,106. Moldy and Rogue in third, 28,226. Guerrero and Sheru, 26,916. The BMW and Dari, 23,486. Nitro and Greasetricity, 14,674. Sea-Dog and Feel, 11,993. And Insomnia and Big Boss Dog, 5,761 points. So that is the lay of the land as it pertains to doubles, game 1, round 1. We'll get this second game in momentarily. In the second game of round 1, we'll have Goofy and Four Eyes on red, Arcane and V-Dark on pink, Cybran and Dika on green, Rooster and Zeta on yellow, Jellyhawk and Karen on blue, Gumby and Tugora on purple, and Akko and Paxo on cyan, with Shurikitty and Tiger rounding out the field on orange. So we'll get that game started off very shortly. We get this second game loaded up. Chat, who do you think is taking home game 2 of round 1? In my biased commentator's opinion, I want to see Goofy and Four Eyes win it, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Arcane and V-Dark take home the victory either. Okie dokie, folks. Looks like we're loading up game 2 of doubles. Thank you for sticking with us here at the Laser Sports New Zealand Invitationals 2023, the morning of day 1. As game 2 starts, and we've got some early action in blue base. Excuse me. Just a bit of a hold up getting the scoreboard situated for doubles. There we go, just as we say that. So as the first minute elapses in the second game of doubles, Tiger has already taken green, Karen's already taken red, and V-Dark and Arcane already have a base. I'm not quite sure which one that is. Looks like there are some shots on at red, and Shurikitty has her red. So they become the first team with 2 bases early on. As Four Eyes gets his green base, so we've got another team with their first base of the game. The action comes thick and fast in doubles, so we'll try and keep you updated the best we possibly can with who is shooting which base. Some shots going into red base, with Tugora taking their second base of the game, so them and Gumby off to a good start. as orange is shooting blue base. Doesn't look like they got it, so denial there would have hurt the leaders slightly. Looks like only blue base is currently active. Red's just come back online as pink. Is it pink shooting blue base? It looks like it was, with Arcane taking her team's second base of the game, as green is under attack from Green Bay, as Cybrant takes his first base of the game. Arcane and Vidark currently leading, with Four Eyes picking up his red base, slotting them into second, only to be pipped. They're going back and forth now with Tugera and Goofy exchanging for second place, with Tiger and Shurikitty right there with them. All the bases were down for a moment, but green base has now come active, so that's where we'll see the most activity next. Looks like we've got Vidark in green. Vidark appears like he needs greens, so, or he could be waiting for Arcane to come sweeping through to take it. Red base is now active, as well as blue is shooting blue base. Well, it looks like Jellyhawk was denied, as yellow looks to piggyback, and Zeta does just that, as red is taking, so Goofy has taken red base and catapults his team into the lead. All the bases are down, so it's a good time for a reset. 4,000 Goofy, 12,000 with 3 bases. Tugora and Gumby in second, 11,000 with 3 bases also. Vidark and Arcane, 11,000 but with 2 bases. Tiger and Shurikitty and Karen and Jellyhawk battling there, both on 8,500 points with 2 bases each. Zeta and, which I believe is Zeta and Partner, or Zeta and Rooster maybe? 7,000 with 2 bases, and Akko and Paxo on 1 base, 4,000 points. Now got 3 teams on 3 bases as we approach the halfway mark of Game 2 of doubles. Arcane and Vidark, Foraz and Goofy, Tugora and Gumby all on 3 bases currently. Some action going as orange pops shots into blue base. It does not look like they got it though, which after a strong start has stagnated their score slightly. As Vidark and Arcane and Four Eyes and Goofy both getting their 4th bases of the game, so they're coming along quite nicely as expected, with Tugora and Goofy being the only other team with 3 bases. As Karen and Jellyhawk go to change that, but Jellyhawk gets denied as Zeta has his 3rd base, so he has all of his bases, with his partner on minus 9,000, so it looks like they've been denied a little bit. Four Eyes and Goofy getting their 5th base, so with just under 4 minutes to go, they're a base away from completing their 6 and going on the points attack. As I say that, Vidark and Arcane secured their 5th base also, so it looks like we've got 2 teams in a base race now for 6. Which will make life very difficult as they can go and basically defend the bases from the other teams. Yeah, so getting 2 shot denied, Rooster by Jellyhawk, and then getting the base snuck away. Possibly one of the worst feelings in laser tag, especially in a doubles game where bases are really important. We've got Rooster and Zeta on 3 bases, along with Tugora and Gumby. But they're a good 10,000 points behind the powerhouse that is Four Eyes and Goofy, and then 6,000 points further in advances Vidark and Arcane. So the favourites are out and flexing muscles so far in this competition. So Vidark and Arcane have taken their 6th base. They are done with their bases for the game, which means they have 2.5 minutes to just pack point and defend the bases from the other teams. They've got about a 7,000 point lead on Four Eyes and Goofy, who in themselves have a 8,000 point advantage on Zeta and Rooster in 3rd. With some of the teams from earlier in the game just stalling out. So Dika has taken his 2nd base of the game with a blue base there from the looks of things. Looks like Kitty has gotten her 1st base of the game, taking red base there. So we're at Four Eyes in green base. He doesn't need, so it looks like he's just on a defense job. Cybrant's in blue. Dika joins him. Looks like they're covering one another. Looks like they got it. So Cybrant and Dika now joining Zeta and Rooster on 4 bases each, but they've got a long way to go to catch the leaders as Vidark and Arcane have decided that they're going to go and they're going to go big. They're on 32,000 with 6 bases. Four Eyes and Goofy will be a little bit disappointed they haven't finished yet, and they're slightly lacking on pack just as I say that. It's almost like they heard me. Four Eyes and Goofy finishing their 6th base. They are 9,000 points down on pack from 1st, but they will take a healthy points total into their 2nd game, looking to be one of the 7 teams to go through to doubles finals. As we get towards the final 10 seconds, a last minute base there from Gumby pulls them up into a respectable 4th place finish, only to be knocked back down by Zeta and Rooster, who get their 5th base of the game as time expires on game 2 of doubles. So to recap game 2 of doubles, a gargantuan score from Vidark and Arcane, 34,186. Four Eyes and Goofy finishing their 6th, 24,896 in 2nd. Zeta and Rooster, 18,505. Cybrant and Dika, 16,454. Gumby, Tugora, 15,714. Karen and Jellyhawk, 13,083. Tiger and Churukitty, 12,113. And Echo and Paxo, 8,162 in the 8th position there. So not much of a surprise in that game. We kind of expected Vidark and Arcane and Four Eyes and Goofy to do well. We didn't probably expect such a huge score out of Vidark and Arcane, but clearly they've warmed up in solos and now are hunting that doubles crown. Four Eyes notably not a solos player at all. Could probably do very well, but decides that he's just doesn't want to bother with solos. So we'll be taking that first game as a warm-up. And as far as warm-up games go, 2nd place with the third best score of the players in the maze will give him some confidence going forward. So they will get them racked up for game 3 of 5 for doubles round 1. We will have Ace and Guinea in red, Popeyes and Lieutenant Trader, their first game on pink, Dari and the BMW on green, Mantis and Sega on yellow, Big Boss Dog and Insomnia on blue, Easy Points and Nelly on purple, Geestricity and Nitro on cyan, with Rooty and Jam Man on orange. Like we have the players filing in for game 3 of doubles round 1. Those of you in the chat, who is your prediction for this game? You would expect Guinea and Ace to take it out, but as we've seen, nothing is set in stone. As the scoreboard pops up for game 3, it looks like bases early from Dari and the BMW, Ace and Guinea, and Lieutenant Trader and Popeyes. Those teams will be very happy to get an early base under their respective belts. Of course, it's not all doom and gloom for the rest of the teams. It just means that the opening exchanges haven't gone their way and they need to work their way back into it. Although that said, it looks like a bit of a rotation is happening because all 3 of those teams have secured their second base, and it will be interesting to see if any of the other 4 or 5 teams will stop them from continuing the cycle. The BMW is the first team to collect their third base. Guinea and Ace not too far behind. Waiting to see who is the next one. So the cycle hasn't continued, with Mantis picking up her first base of the game for her and Sega. So we've got 2 teams on 3 bases, 1 team on 2 and 1 team on 1, with 4 teams still yet to register. As BMW and Dari have really picked up the pace, they've secured their 4th base, the first team to secure 4 bases for this game. As Ace and Guinea are the next team to secure 4 bases, but BMW and Dari already on 5. So not even 3 minutes into this one, and they've already got their almost full complement of bases. So we could see another runaway game here. See anyone putting shots into bases? Looks like Mantis and Sega are going for red base, and Sega collects his base, his first red base. As shots went into green, but it looks like Nitro has been denied, so they're having a very struggle street start to this game. Mantis and Sega have picked up another base, so they're now on 3. It's starting to close the gap to the top 2 teams. As Big Boss Dog picks up their first base of the competition, I believe, with a red base there. Still got some teams on no bases as we look away for a moment, and BMW and Dari have collected all 6 of their bases. So now they're free to acquire pack points however they see fit. Ace and Guinea second with 4 bases, Trader and Popeyes with 3, Manson and Sega also with 3 in your top 4. All the bases currently inactive. For those of you who may not be familiar, after the base is destroyed, there's a period of about 25 to 30 seconds where the base cannot be shot before it becomes reactivated. Somnia picking up a base for his team. Shots going into green base there. As Guinea picks up his 3rd base and now puts him and Ace onto 5 bases total. So Ace just requires his green base now, which he looks like he's heading over to collect when it comes active again. So Dari and BMW currently in control of the game on 26,000 with their 6 bases, 27,000 now. Ace and Guinea a base behind on 20,000. As Trader and Popeyes get their 5th base, and now it becomes a bit of a race between Trader and Popeyes and Guinea and Ace for their final base. And then you have the Hobart couple of Mantis and Sega on 15,000, just getting their 4th base now as I speak. Insomnia and Big Boss Dog on just under 10,000 with 2 bases. Easy Points and Nelly also on 2 bases. Nitro and Greasetricity also on 2 bases. And Grucci and Jam Man yet to trouble the base scorers. Ace and Guinea have picked up their 6th base and now are on 23,000. So 2 very dangerous players have now been released to go and collect points however they see fit. Although Trader and Popeyes have just finished their 6 base as well. So we've now got 3 teams all completing their 6 bases, but the pack point advantage is clear with Dari and BMW. Popeyes and Trader have a reasonable pack advantage on Ace and Guinea. But you would expect Ace and Guinea to come home with a wet sail on pack as we get towards the final couple of minutes of this doubles game 3. Routine Jam Man obviously heard me talking a small degree of smack. They've both picked up a blue base each and now join Nitro and Greasetricity on 2 bases between the pairings. Mantis and Sega have rocketed in the contention. They've picked up their 6th base, now sit on 22,000 points, almost 23, behind Ace and Guinea on 25, Popeyes and Trader on 27, but they're all chasing Dari and the BMW on 30,000 points with 6 bases. They are walking away with this one. If we go back to the first game, Guinea and Ace picked up 31,000 points for their victory in game 1. So with the current scores, you'd imagine Ace and Guinea are pretty safe making it through to the finals round. Dari and the BMW only got 23 in that first round, so it'll be interesting to see how the average score works out in regards to the top 7 making it through. Could be very interesting to see who picks up the last couple of spots in finals. As previously mentioned, I believe we've got 20 pairings in doubles. Doubles round 1. There's a round 1 and a finals. There is no rapid charge, so top 7 teams on average score will go straight through to finals, a 3-game final series, and the remaining 13 teams will bow out. Final 20 seconds of this game. Dari and BMW may have secured their spot in finals with the biggest score this morning, 32,000 with 6 bases. Ace and Guinea on 28,000 with 6, along with Popeyes and Trader on 28,000 with also 6. As we let the scores shake out for game 3. Just recapping, Dari and the BMW, 32,256. Popeyes and Lieutenant Trader, 29,036. 10 points behind Ace and Guinea, 29,026. With a bit of a drop to Mantis and Sega on 24,366. A big bounce back from Big Boss Dog and Insomnia, 20,945. Gritty and Jam Man recovered well, 13,293. Easy Points and Nelly, 12,863. And Nitro and Greasetricity, 9,483. So we'll be back very shortly with Game 4, Round 1 of doubles. Actually, apologies to Arcan and VDOC. Now that I look at the score sheet, they had a 34,000 point game in game 2, so not the highest score from Dari and the BMW. Looks like we're heading in for game 4, possibly, of doubles. We've got Runt and Twinkles on orange, Arcane and VDOC on red, Moldy and Rogue on pink, Rooster and Zeta on green, Sheru and Guerrero on yellow, Gumby and Tugora on blue, Sea Dog and Feel on purple, and Shurikitty and Tiger on cyan. As we see Raven in chat cheering for Arcane with a bit of French flair there. Hope the repair job on the Achilles went well. Hope you're resting up well. Moldy and Rogue both have a green base early in this one. They're the first team with 2 bases. Arcane and Vidark already getting a base. Cheryl and someone else hasn't logged in. I need to go back and have a look. Oh, Cheryl and Guerrero. Cheryl and Guerrero also have a base, as do Runt and Twinkles and Tugora and Gumby. Well, I guess in the scenario, laying around is more preferable than standing, given the situation. So, I guess it's a win. The chat favorites of Arcane and Vidark are the first team with 3 bases, Arcane having 2 of those. Twinkles and Runt also have 2 bases now. Moldy and Rogue are the next team on 3, and Vidark and Arcane pushing their advantage to get 4. Doubles, such a chaotic game to keep track of, especially when you're trying to do this from remote. But the facts are what they are on the scoreboard as we get towards the 3.5 minutes gone in doubles game 4 for round 1. Vidark and Arcane, 17,000 with 4 bases. Rogue and Moldy, 14,000 with 4 bases as well. Pharaoh and Flash, Twinkles and Runt, both on 2 bases each, a fair way behind the leaders currently, but plenty of time for them to catch up. Looks like a pack swap for Gumby, as him and Tagora are trailing them with 1 base. Looks like Sea Dog taken blue base and puts him and them and Feel on the scoreboard for bases so far this game. Brew Kitty looks like she's taken a bit of a roughing up with some denials there. Denials is not something you want in doubles, but comes thick and fast. I think we should see green base going down. Yep, green base going down. Zeta taking green there. Also saw blue go down. I did not see who took that one. But Vidark and Arcane lead at the halfway mark of game 4 of doubles. Looking to weld themselves into the first transfer spot through to finals with another big score here. Rogue and Moldy will just be looking to keep pace and looking to cinch up a spot. I feel like they will feel they know what they need to do in this one. But I don't think the rest of the teams are going to let them go quietly. Cheryl and Guerrero nipping at their heels. Twinkles and Run having a bit of an off game. Might be getting targeted slightly by one of the other teams. So the trick is, and speaking from experience here as one of the known Australian players that headed over to a few of these invitationals, is You got to get in good with the locals early, otherwise you can find yourself picked on a little bit if you're not careful. I feel like that's what's happening to Runt and Twinkles during this game. But much to the joy, I'm sure, of the chat, VDuck and Arcane have finished their 6 bases and now have 3.5 minutes further to push their pack point advantage. They'll be heading for another high score, maybe in the 34 mark, depending on how good their pack goes. Moldy and Rogue keeping touch. I say keeping touch. They're about now 9,000 points behind, with the base still in hand. Twinkles and Runt have, again, somehow heard me talking smack, and they've worked their way up to third with 3 bases for the team. Feel and Sea Dog having a decent outing with 3 bases themselves. Peru and Guerrero still on 2. Shurikity and Tiger getting their 3rd base, but in a bit of a hole as far as denial points go. We will have a decent idea of who will be in the mix to transfer over at the completion of this game. Only one more game after this game goes final for doubles round 1. Yeah, absolutely right, Raven. After coming second in solos, Vidark hasn't let his foot off the accelerator. Just crushing it at the moment, leading him and Arcane to another huge score. They got 34,000 points in their other doubles game for this morning. So Twinkles won solos. Raven came from the clouds in the 3rd game with a big score to nip it right at the end. We were predicting a fight between Vidark and Popeyes, and Twinkles came out of nowhere to win finals, which puts him as one of the danger men going forward towards Hobart and his home site. So, minute to go in this doubles game 4, and Vidark and Arcane have absolutely romped home by the length of whatever straight you can think of. 32,000 points with Feel and Sea Dog, a very surprised 2nd place on 5 bases. They've really taking it to some of the more favoured teams. The Runt and Twinkle slotting into 3rd place with their 4 bases. Moldy and Rogue having a rough time of it, 5 bases but down in 4th. As we get towards the last 20 seconds of doubles game 4. Was it 7 shots in it? I'm glad someone's keeping track, because I don't have the scoreboard with the denial shots numbers on it. Oh wait, actually look at the screen and maybe put my old man glasses on, which I don't actually have. You can see the numbers in the squares there. Look, learning this new scoreboard as I go. But yeah, 7 shots into a base would cause me some physical pain as well. But that aside, recapping game 4 of doubles round 1, Vidark and Arcane, 34,000 with 6 bases. A long way in front of Twinkles and Runt on 23 with 5. Feel and Sea Dog are a very handy third place, 20,000 with 5. Moldy and Rogue, 19,000 with 5. The 9 shots into red base definitely hurting their cause there. Guerrero and Sheru on 15,000 with 3. Tiger and Shurikitty on 15,000 with 5. Tagora and Gumby on 14,000 with 4. And Rusa and Zeta on 11,000 with 3. Just goes to show that in doubles, you need to be clean or your score can take a nosedive. Like you can see Tiger and Shurikitty, they got 5 bases, but they copped some heavy denials along the way. Alrighty, we'll just flick over here and kind of get an idea of, obviously, Arcane and VDark. I don't think there'll be a problem making it through to doubles finals. I think 2 scores of 34 are pretty safe. I'd be worried if it wasn't. So we'll just set the scene for the 5th and final game of doubles round 1. We'll have Goofy and Four Eyes on orange, Popeyes and Lieutenant Trader on red, Cyberan and Dika on pink, Mantis and Sega on green, Jellyhawk and Karen on yellow, Easy Points and Nelly on blue, Ace and Paco on purple, and Grootey and Jam Man on cyan, which will be the final game of round 1 of doubles. In case you missed it earlier, 20 teams in doubles. Top 7 will go through to finals, and a bit of a harsh cut, no rapid charge. Top 7 go through. The remaining 13 can hang around for triples a little bit later on this afternoon. And we have kicked off doubles game 5. So we'll let the scores shake themselves out as Jellyhawk and Karen have picked up an early base along with Nelly and Easy Point. Four Eyes and Goofy doing Four Eyes and Goofy things, getting an early base there. Got some word through from Four Eyes after their first doubles game. They felt they were pretty rusty and weren't particularly happy with their score. They'll be looking for a big score in this game to secure them a spot in the top 7 to make it through to finals. And you just judging off of the teams, you would expect them being the most experienced duo in the arena, knowing each other quite well, that they should go ahead and do that. Yeah, no one started near red. It's hard to say, not being on site, if sometimes bases do get left alone at the start of doubles game. Everyone seems to have the same great idea of yeah, okay, so we're getting some information through that red's not a popular starting spot, which, if I was one of those teams that could pick up on a pattern like that, I would take my free red and then give myself a vast chunk of the game to get the other 2 bases when teams eventually do go over to red. As we look at some of the early base takes in the first 2 minutes of this one, Four Eyes and Goofy both have blue. Grootey and Jam Man, Grootey has red. Easy Points and Nelly have a red and a blue. Four Eyes has picked up a green, so now they're on 3 bases. Popeyes has a green, Karen has a green, Grootey has a red, Paxo has a red, So lots of reds have gone down despite no one starting near it. It's an interesting strategy. Goofy has his blue bays and 4, no, so they're still on 3. Now they're on 4. Goofy has taken red and they have got 4 of their 6 possible bases. For the early lead, they're on 15,000 points. Easy points and Nelly on second place on 8,000 points with 2 bases. Popeyes and Trader both getting their green in third. Karen and Jellyhawk in fourth. Red and blue. Well, I mean, action in all the bases, let's be fair. If there's a base without action in doubles, something has gone wrong. So we've got Nelly and Easy Points and Trainer and Popeyes bridging the gap slightly on 3 bases per team. Although I say that, and Four Eyes has completed his bases nice and easy before the halfway mark. They're now on 19,000 with 5 bases, and going to be really looking to get Goofy his green base, so they can go and hunt for some points. The rest of the teams, you would imagine, excuse me, would know this and probably just try and give them. There's 2 trains of thought. You can either challenge them and try and prevent them from getting their base, or you can leave them to their devices and try and get the bases that they're not at. Popeyes and Trader now getting their 4th base between them, so I would imagine that they've got both their greens and both their reds, and they just need both their blues now. As we get to the halfway mark of doubles game 5. Four Eyes and Goofy, the only team over the 20,000 point threshold at this stage, with 5 bases. 5,000 points clear from Popeyes and Trader. And then you go down to Nelly and Easy Points, Jelly and Karen, Cyberant and Dika, Mantis and Sega, Grootey and Jamman, and Paco and Akko. Paxo and Akko. Apologies. Commentating for a few hours straight has started to catch up with me, I think. The voice is starting to crackle a bit. Thanks for sticking with us here on the first morning of the Laser Sports New Zealand Invitationals. Husband Trader now have only 1 base left to get themselves. Looks like they need a red, or possibly hard to tell from this viewpoint. Four Eyes and Goofy still need a green base for Goofy, but they're rolling in pack at the moment, so there's no other teams. There's 3 or 4. Every other team looks like they're on about 3 bases each. They just need a couple of quick bases to get up over the hump and start to challenge these top teams. But both of these top teams have been around for long enough that they will know what they're doing. As Goofy puts shots into green, secures his green, 6 bases for Four Eyes and Goofy. They're on 25,000 points, and they will be hunting for pack points for the remaining 2 minutes 40 or so of this game. Popeyes and Trader on 19,000 with 5 bases themselves. And after saying that no other team had more than three other than the first two teams, Sega and Mantis and Karen and Jellyhawk, both of the Hobart pairings, now have 4 bases between them. And they will be relying on hoping their first game score was high enough to get them through in the top 7. We've got 2 minutes left to go in doubles game 5. We'll take a quick break to figure out the scoring and which 7 teams will go through to finals, and then we'll be back for our 3-game final series of doubles. Sega and Mantis joining Four Eyes and Goofy, Popeyes and Trader on 6 bases apiece. Karen and Jellyhawk just have the one more to get. It looks like Jelly needs green. Bit of work left to do in the last minute for Cybrine and Deka. The rest of the teams look like they'll be out of the running to progress, unfortunately for them. We're inside the final minute of play now. Four Eyes and Goofy hunting for that nice 30 mark. Popeyes and Trader you'd think would have done just enough to make it through if their first score was as strong as this one. We will try and have those finalised finals participants to you as soon as we have them available. 30 seconds left to go. A lot of cluster action going in the top corner of that green base. I think everyone's just trying to rack up points now as we approach the final 10 seconds of this game. Cybrant and Dika have come strongly in the last minute to secure their 6 bases, leapfrogging over a couple of teams there. And that's it, folks. The final game of doubles round 1 is in the books. Four Eyes and Goofy taking out a strong victory, 29,296. Popeyes and Lieutenant Trader second, 25,946. Sega and Mantis in third, 25,516. Cybrant and Deka, 24,426. Karen and Jellyhawk, 22635. Easy Points and Nelly, 16,214. Paxo and Akko, 13,253. And Grooty and Jamman, 11,483. So we will just wait on the finalisation of the top 7 teams from the 5 games of round 1 of doubles for our 3-game final series between the top 7 teams. Bear with us, please. But you would expect that, Arcane and Vidark, Ace and Guinea, Goofy and Four Eyes will be taking at least 3 or 4 of those spots. Runt and Twinkles you'd imagine would have done enough as well. But we'll wait on final scores before we jump the gun too hard here, folks. Alright, looks like we've got some scores appearing on screen there, folks. Just waiting for them. I feel like that results grid is not correct, even though people can't see that. Alrighty, all looks like we've had the finals teams finalized for doubles. So congratulations to Arcane and V-Dark, Ace and Guinea, Dari and the BMW, Popeyes and Lieutenant Trader, Goofy and Four Eyes, Runt and Twinkles, and Mantis and Sega, rounding out our 7 pairing field for the 3-game final series. Commiserations to the teams from 20th through to 8th. We'll go in reverse order here very quickly. Akko and Paxo, Greasetricity and Nitro, Grootey and Jamman, Big Boss Dog and Insomnia, Kitty and Tiger, Rooster and Zeta, Easy Points and Nelly, Gumby and Turoga, T-Dog and Feel, Jellyhawk and Karen, Cyber and Dika, Sheru and Guerrero, and Moldy and Rogue, unfortunately being the bubble team in 8th place there. So not too much longer, and we will get started with our 3-game final series for the podium placings for doubles. Now, just moving ahead slightly, I believe after doubles, we may or may not go into the start of triples round 1, which is what it says here on the schedule. Not quite sure if we have anyone scheduled for commentary for triples. Unfortunately, I will need to duck out after the completion of doubles finals. So we'll just take another short break, guys, as we get prepared for game 1 of finals for doubles here at the 2023 Laser Sports New Zealand Invitationals. Waiting to kick off doubles finals there, guys. We're just hopefully a couple of moments away. For those of you still in the chat, who do you think takes it out? Do you think anyone can unseat the top-seeded team of Arcane and VDOC? Two Hobart teams are going to challenge. You would expect they're only going to get stronger throughout the competition, still learning the maze. Yeah, it is really hard to go past Arcane and VDOC there, Raven. As much as I have my own sentimental favourites of Goofy and Four Eyes, it's hard to see anyone toppling those two after two massive scores in the two round one games. Although I don't expect Guinea and Ace to go down quietly. And then you've also got Runt and Twinkles in there, which are, two wild cards at the best of times. But of course, we've got the Dunedin love for Dari and BMW in there. Yeah, if you go on a run at clean bases, you can really kick away and kind of put the game on your terms. Be interesting to see how the 3-game final series go, because we saw Popeyes and VDark basically go 1-2 in the first 2 games of solos, and then Twinkles pulled out a massive score in game 3 and just kind of vaulted over both of them. So you really need to have 3 solid games if you want a trophy in this. Another thing that you could probably say with this with finals going straight from round 1 through to finals is that in your round 1 games you definitely would have had some teams there that you could have exploited for some points. Now you're going into this final series where all 7 teams are you know there's no weak links here in finals. Everyone deserves to be here, so you're going to get a fight. You're going to have to fight for your bases no matter what, unless you get gifted, a lucky empty base. You're going to have to fight a good Nationals quality player to get your bases in finals. So, speaking of, we looks like we've may have. Just bear with me, folks. So yeah, it looks like we've got some testing going on, guys. I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but I guess we're making sure that everything's ship shape before we get through to the nitty gritty of a final. So if you just bear with us for a couple of minutes, we'll let you know when we get game one of finals in there. Alrighty, folks. Looks like we are up and running for the first game of doubles finals. Thank you for bearing with us with the delay. Sega and Mantis, Twinkles of Runt, and Ark and Vidok have all secured the first bases respectively in this first game of doubles finals. Joined by Four Eyes and Goofy, and Runt and Twinkles on two bases now. So interesting to see that The 6th and 7th ranked teams from round one have taken early lead in the first game of finals, but still a long way to go, and it's definitely not over for any of these teams yet. Dari and the BMW securing a red base to get themselves on the board. So all of the teams now have a base other than Guinea and Ace, and those two should not be too far behind, you would imagine. Vidark, unfortunately, it looks like he copped a two-shot denial in blue, which means he's a negative 1,000 points in the hole already. Twinkles and Run off to an early lead. They've already got 3 bases for the game. BMW and Dari and Arcane and Vidark on 2 each. Ace and Guinea getting blue there, so every team on the board with a base in the first couple of minutes of the first game of finals. Dari and the BMW getting another base, so we now have 2 teams on 3 bases apiece, and it's not the ones you would expect so far in the first game of finals here. Ace and Guinea picking up another blue base, so they've worked their way nicely back into it. With Four Eyes and Goofy and Pop Eyes and Trader just falling behind slightly, but still plenty of game to be played. Got shots going into green. Looks like Twinkles and Runt have picked up another base. They're on 4 now and cruising along. We did fear that this would be the case once Twinkles and Runt worked out the arena, that they would come home with a wet sail. But here come the number 1 seeded team going into finals, Arcane and Vidark, with 3 bases now each. So 3 bases between them. Yeah, correct. I think the base shot counts aren't super accurate. They give you a good idea, but guess all the bugs of the software haven't been quite figured out yet. Guinea and Ace joining the 3 base party. Lots of teams on 3 bases now. Four Eyes picking up a base of his own now, leaves their team on 2. They might need to split a couple bases to Goofy now to get them back up into it. Poppers and Trader with a little bit of work to be done in the second half of this first game. BMW and Dari, maybe the dark horse of this this event, because they've joined Runt and Twinkles on 4 bases. Only 2 teams currently with 4 bases as we've reached the halfway mark of game 1. Though I say that, Goofy take his green base, and all of a sudden a new challenger emerges with BMW and Dari picking up their 5th base. So they're the first team with 5 bases, although they're still in second points. Their pack not quite up to the level of Runt and Twinkles so far. Arcane and Vidark getting their 4th base. So currently keeping pace with the top teams. Runt and Twinkles now joining BMW and Dari on 5 bases, but have a handy 3,000 or 4,000 point pack point advantage. So they are cruising as we're inside of 4 minutes in the first game here of finals. And just as I say that, they've picked up their sixth base, so they are done, and they are going to be two very dangerous weapons flying around the arena with both their bases, all their bases secured. Currently, it looks like Flores and Goofy and Arcane and Vidoc are probably their biggest challenge. Both teams have still two bases in hand, with the BMW and Dari technically second on the scoreboard, but only one base still to get for that pairing. But again, as we saw in solos, anything can happen in this three-game series. So if the top teams can keep touch, we might see a blowout in a game that swings the tide. But at the moment, 6,000 point advantage for Runt and Twinkles. They're really turning on the screws. They found that extra gear. Arcane and Vidoc trying to claw back some of the points they need. Like a lot of teams on 4 bases now. 2 teams are on 6 as BMW and Dari finished their bases, but they're still a fair way away on point. Still got 2 minutes to go, but it's going to take a mighty clawback to stop Runt and Twinkles from taking home game 1 here. Ace and Guinea making a late run. They're now on 5 bases. Arcane and Vidoc have finished and have got their 6th base, so we've now got 3 teams on 6 bases each. Four Eyes and Goofy have just dropped off. They're still missing 2 bases. They've got a minute 30 to try and rectify that though, and they've got decent pack for where they're at, so they could make a late run at things. But Runt and Twinkles are class of the field at the moment, approaching 30,000 points. We've got about a 6,000 or 7,000 point pack advantage on Arcane and Vidoc, which at this stage already might be too much to bring back. Get to the last 30 seconds of doubles finals game 1. That looks like it is all for doubles game 1. Runt and Twinkles have galloped away from the field and taken home this one 30,996. Arcane and Vidoc 24,696. BMW and Dari third place 22,566. Popeyes and Trader 21,105. Guinea and Ace 20,195. Mantis and Sega 19,966, and Four Eyes and Goofy 18,774, which is a bit of a fall from grace for that duo. They were doing quite well for most of it, and just Goofy needing 2 bases at the end there. It looks like he just got stuck, and the other teams overtook them. Yeah, you're right, Raven. That's a really good lead for Runt and Twinkles. You don't want to call it too early because they could have a disastrous game 2 and 3, but if they put up another score like that, it's going to be really hard to wrestle the trophy away from them. Not really much more we can read into to things currently with just the first game in the books for doubles finals. Obviously, as you can see from the scoreboard here, Runt and Twinkles are going to take some stopping in games 2 and 3. You know, currently got about 4 or 5 teams in the. I mean, most of the rest of the teams are in the mix for a podium. Just some teams are going to need some bigger games 2 and 3 than others. And of course, this doesn't take into account any post-game penalties. But we will find these things out as they go, as it looks like we're starting up game 2 of doubles finals. So Runt and Twinkles haven't left off from where they were. They've already got a base in this game 2. Ace and Guinea and Dari in the BMW have joined them all on a base each. That looks like Mantis in red base there. Looks like red's been left alone. And Mantis has taken a free red base. You don't knock those back by any stretch of the imagination. Ace and Guinea already up on 2 bases. Dari in the BMW, another strong showing early in this game 2. Looks like Four Eyes got 2-shot denied at blue, so that's going to really hamper their comeback hopes. Mantis and Sega have a base. Popeyes and Trader have a base. Runt and Twinkles have a base. Four Eyes and Goofy now have a base. Arcane and Vidark, surprisingly the only team without a base so far. Ace and Guinea already have 3 bases, both of them having blue and Ace having red. Dari and the BMW both having green, and then bases singular for the rest of the teams. Sans, Arcane, and Vidark, which if you were the top seeded team going into this, you would be a little bit nervous that that's not exactly where you want to be to start off game 2. Still 7 minutes or so to bring it back, and just as I say that, Arcane gets her blue base sorted, and all the teams are on the board as far as bases go. Runt and Twinkles not finding the bases as easy to come by in game 2 so far, but still lots of game to go, and they can pick up bases in a hurry, so we're not going to be counting them out by any stretch of the imagination. Ace and Guinea, the only team currently to have 3. But Arcane and Vidark, Popeyes and Trader, Dari and the BMW, all having 2 so far. Ace and Guinea now up to 4 bases. So they're not letting this one go without a fight. Arcane and Vidark up to 3 bases themselves. Just ticking along. Runt and Twinkles have worked their way up now with 2 bases of Runt into third. At this stage of the competition, they just need to kind of hold pace with the top teams currently in this game. They've got enough of that lead from the first game that they can kind of not take any massive risks and still be in the catbird seat for the win. Although I say that Runt finishes his third base, so Runt is done for the game. Arcane and Vidark, after a slow start, have exploded with 4 bases. Ace and Guinea, as we approach the halfway mark, are just 1 base short of completing their 6. Not too much going on. Popeyes and Trader, Dari and BMW haven't added to their total. Forres and Goofy, Mantis and Sega are only on the 1 base but each team. So some teams in the last half of this second game are really going to have to put the foot down if they want any chance of grabbing one of the podium spots. Arcane and Vidark are now also a base away from finishing off their 6. Twinkles has his green, so the clubhouse leaders currently holding pace with what they need to do to win the event. Trader and Popeyes on 3 bases now for the team. Ace and Guinea have finished their 6 bases, so they now have a solid 4.5 minutes to accumulate pack points. So they'll be field pointing around and looking to stop all the other teams from getting bases, although it doesn't seem to have yet had much an effect on Runt and Twinkles, who have, as expected, fought their way back into this one and are now 3,000 points behind Ace and Guinea, but a base still in hand for that duo. Arcane and Vidark not too far behind them on score with a base in hand as well. Not anymore as they finish off their 6. So Ace and Guinea and Arcane and Vidark now have 6 bases for both teams, so they don't have any more bases to get. Runt and Twinkles just need, it looks like Twinkles red, and as I say that, Twinkles has his red, they have their 6, and now they will pack point away and look to put a stranglehold on first place. Meanwhile, as we go through the other placings, Goofy and Four Eyes have picked things up off the bottom, and they're now on 3 bases along with Mantis and Sega. Trader and Popeyes and BMW and Dari have now sunk to 7th with only 2 bases so far. Three minutes to go left in the second game of doubles finals. We've got a couple of teams picking up their 4th bases, with Sega and Mantis and Popeyes and Trader both adding 1 to their tally. Goofy and Four Eyes adding a 3rd. Dari and BMW adding a 3rd. Popeyes and Trader now up to 5. Arcane and Vidark have the pack advantage so far, but Runt and Twinkles doing everything they need to at the current moment to take a big lead into the 3rd and final game of finals. Ace and Guinea probably consolidating a podium spot here, not too far away. All 3 of those teams have completed their bases for the game. 1 minute 30 left in game 2. It's approaching the last minute of the game. Arcane and Vidoc still leading with Runt and Twinkles just a hair behind. Ace and Guinea not too far behind them either. Then there's a bit of a gap to Mantis and Sega, who have climbed up to 4th here. Goofy and Four Eyes making a late charge, but it seems to be a bit too little too late, with Popeyes and Trader and Dari in the BMW rounding us out. Runt and Twinkles have just taken over the lead, and with 30 seconds to go in this game, it is going to take a disaster in Game 3 to wrestle the trophy away from Runt and Twinkles. They basically have to sabotage themselves to not win this at this stage. Arcane and Vidoc would have to claw back something like 8,000 points in the final game. So, Game 2 of doubles has concluded. Runt and Twinkles taking the game out with a late surge, 28,476. Arcane and Vidoc, second place, 27,896. Ace and Guinea, 26,556. Sega and Mantis, 21,936, finishing their bases on the buzzer there. Goofy and Four Eyes, 17,864. Dari and the BMW, 6645 for them, and Popeyes and Trader rounding us off 16,315. Runt is an unstoppable killing machine. It's really hard with scores like that. It's really hard to argue. 193% tag ratio, 16,000 points just from himself. He outscored Popeyes and Trader by himself, which is nothing to sneeze at because Popeyes and Trader are two very good laser tag players. But Runt has gone to a whole new level in the last year or so. And at the moment, you can't even claim that he's got the maze or the pack advantage because he's doing it away from home. Good pointing out there, Raven. Arcane putting her big girl backpack on and carrying Vidoc there in that game. 3,000 points advantage with a 169% tag ratio. So we'll get you in for Game 3 of doubles finals shortly, the third and final game. As it currently stands, I don't think it takes any prizes for guessing that Runt and Twinkles would almost definitely be leading the standings. If you had to ask me very quickly, I think Arcane and Vidoc have probably got the second position right now. Ace and Guinea very likely third, and then it's a toss-up for the rest of the placings. Could be wrong, very likely to be wrong, known for being wrong, but bit of a gap forming between the top three and the rest of the teams, I believe. Yeah, you're right. I think Sega and Mantis are probably sitting about fourth. They just lack that oomph when it comes to pack points, because they've been, like you mentioned, getting their bases quite effectively. Managed to getting all 6 in that game, and did they get 6 in the first game? Yeah, they got 6 in both games, so they've been getting their bases. The pack points have just been letting them down slightly as we've kicked off Game 3, the third and final game of doubles finals. Who is going to make a late run for the podium? Can anyone stop Runt and Twinkles? We are about to find out. As I take a look over at the scoreboard, are we surprised to see Vidoc and Arcane and Runt and Twinkles already having bases? Runt and Twinkles already having 2 bases. Popeyes and Trader and BMW and Dari have a base each singular. A bit of a rough start for Sega. Looks like he got 2-shot denied there. Or not. Looks like he picked up possibly a blue base there. So The hunt is on for that third place for Sega and Mantis. But it is the Runt and Twinkle show here at doubles. They have took them a while to get into it. I think they're about the 6th seeded team going into finals, but maybe they just resting on their laurels a little bit, knowing that they had another couple of years to shift into when the money was on the table, so to speak. Up to 3 bases now. They're not taking a victory lap, guys. They're really pressing home the advantage and make sure everyone knows who the top dogs are in this doubles comp. Vidoc and Arcane lead the rest of the field currently. Every team has a base. It's just that Runt and Twinkles are up to 4 bases already, and we're less than 3 minutes into Game 3 of finals for doubles. I don't think there is a commentator's curse big enough to stop them now. They're 2 bases away from completing their 6th, and I think as soon as they complete their 6th, which will not be too far away, I will go ahead and crown them with half the game remaining. That they're the 2023 Laser Sports New Zealand Invitational Doubles Champions. Four Eyes and Goofy, though, wanting to finish off strong. I don't think they, unfortunately, have a strong enough first 2 games to have a look in at a podium. But by their own admissions, being rusty going into doubles, I think if they finish off this game strongly, it'll give them a good vibe going into triples and going into the team games later on. That's a 5th base for Runt and Twinkles. Just needing Twinkles to get blue and can basically crown the boys. Vidoc and Arcane looks like they're going to stake their claim to 2nd, I think. And then it'll just be a battle between, I think, Ace and Guinea and Sega and Mantis for 3rd place on the podium. Which can we say for Sega and Mantis? For players that, prior to the Queensland Rumble in 2020, no one didn't know them outside of Tasmania. They have come along in leaps and bounds, and I think they even are showing a 4th or 5th here in doubles finals. Should be super proud of themselves, and I'll be sure to tell them that off air the next chance I get, because that's a super impressive performance to go away from home on a system that they don't play at home. They've got Helios 2 in a Hobart, and to come away with a podium, if not a 4th or a 5th, in doubles finals at a pretty competitive invitational tournament is super impressive from those two. They'd be super proud of themselves. But I think we can go ahead and crown it now with half the game left in Game 3. Runt and Twinkles have their 6 bases in all 3 games. They won the first 2 games. Look, they're on course to win this game and be crowned the Laser Sports New Zealand doubles champions for 2023. Vidoc and Arcane staking their claim to 2nd, and with the scores currently the way they are, Sega and Mantis are an outside shot here for 3rd place. Ace and Guinea falling off a little bit here, but it's super competitive for the minor placings. Four Eyes and Goofy going along strongly with 4 bases currently. Sega and Mantis now on 4 bases, and things are getting interesting. I'm not going to look away from the screen to do quick math, but the way things currently stand, they are in line to cause a bit of a boil over, and if they can snatch third place on the podium from Ace and Guinea, that will be a massive feather in the cap that absolutely no one can argue with them on. Dago Mantis up to 5 bases now. Ace and Guinea, they're about 4,000 pack behind them on 4 bases, with about 3 minutes left to go. Yeah, look, I'm starting to get a bit hype. Same as you, Raven. Sega Mantis for a cheeky third. They finished third at pre-nats as a team with the Archangels, but a third in doubles at an away comp on a relatively foreign system is huge. And they've just finished their sixth. They can't lose any points in denials. They can go hell for leather for pack. Ace and Guinea, they're in the mud at the moment. They've, just as I say that, they've taken a couple of bases almost simultaneously, and they're right nipping on the heels now. There's about a 4,000 point advantage, and I'm never going to hear the end of it if I've commentated Curse third place away from Mantis and Sega. If I was them, I would be chasing Guinea and Ace around like mad people and basically just sit on Ace and try and prevent him from getting his last base. That's actually a really good point. Vidark and Arcane have also had a bit of a slip, and they may drop second place here. We may have Ace and Guinea in second and Medicine Sago claiming third if Vidark and Arcane don't get a wriggle on. Ace and Guinea end up getting their sixth base, so it is on now. Mantis and Sega are putting the foot down. Ace and Guinea are right there with them. If Vidark and Arcane don't get a base here in the last minutes and 30 seconds, they could drop from second to fourth in the blink of an eye. The boil over still might be on here, folks. Oh man, they are dropping. This would be a massive upset if just as I should really shut up. I'm going to shut up for the last minute. It's on for young and old here for the last 2 podium spots in doubles with 1 minute to go. Mantis and Sega versus Guinea and Ace versus Vidark and Arcane. Who's it going to be? Runt and Twinkles by the length of Conrod Strait. They have kicked away and they're on a victory lap now. Let's not take anything away from Four Eyes and Goofy, have finished their 6th base, along with BMW and Dari have also got their 6th base. Oh, Vidark and Arcane have finished their 6th base as well, and may have just snatched back the podium placings. Popeyes and Trader are unfortunately going to finish this one off in 7th. They're the only team left to have not finished their 6 bases. Yeah, they've clutched it. The experience, I think, has won out for Ace and Guinea and Vidark and Arcane. May have just snatched the podium back. I mean, second in this game, very impressive from Mantis and Sega. I think myself and Raven will be hiding from them slightly. We may have jinxed them and gone the early crow. But we will wait for official results. I think the one result that, a very close final game, which we like to see. I don't think there's any doubting that Runt and Twinkles, barring some kind of exorbitant penalty with 330k games, have taken out the doubles crown, and we will just wait for confirmation on second and third placing before I sign off for myself. So we're just tallying up scores now, folks. Won't be too long, hopefully, and we'll get you our final results for doubles. Exactly. If nothing else, Agelda, I think a close last game like that in the last game, I think everyone will be coming out of that one feeling pretty happy. Obviously, there are going to be 4 teams there that are going to be disappointed with not taking home a trophy, but that is why we play the game. Big congratulations for Runt and Twinkles, though. I think it's pretty safe to say that they have taken home first place. So the results are just being loaded into the spreadsheet there, as you can see on screen, guys. Something funky going on with the macros. Yeah, there's an extra digit on one of the scores there for Mantis and Sega. As much as I think they'd love to have gotten 260,000 in that last game, there we go. We've just fixed that one up. So it is official. Runt and Twinkles are your Laser Sports New Zealand Invitational Doubles Champions for 2023 on a whopping average of 30,016 over Arcane and VDark on 26,006 in second at a average differential of 4,000 points between first and second. Ace and Guinea ended up securing that final podium spot in third, 24,245. Mantis and Sega, a very impressive fourth place result, 22,726. Darian B&W in fifth place, Goofy and Four Eyes in sixth, and Popeyes and Trader rounding out our finals participants in seventh place. So, one more big congratulations to all of our finalists and all of our players from this morning for solos and doubles. We will not be too far away for the start of the triples. I believe it's triples round 1 we're currently doing. Yeah, so triples round 1 will be the next hour and 15 minutes before the tag team event. Unfortunately, that is all the time that I have on commentary. I will be leaving you now. Thank you for everyone that stuck with me solo commentating from remote this morning. We will leave you with, I'm not sure if we got commentary or we're just going to have some background music for triples, but I have been Big Red, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the Laser Sports New Zealand Invitationals from Megazone Silverdale in Auckland, New Zealand. Thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you around.
Let me hear you say, get louder.